Time now for The Lead, brought to you by Grand Prix Motorsports. If you're looking for the original motorcycle, talking about the Indian motorcycle, check them out. Grand Prix Motorsports off of County Line Road and
Santa Fe.
All right. NFL readjusted its compensatory picks. 3 teams got dinged.
Yeah, what was that?
The Broncos are one of them.
Including the Denver Broncos. They had a 6th round compensatory pick. It now moves to 7. So instead of the 208th overall pick, which you can make the case in some ways is worthless, sometimes you will get lucky and hit on it. Yeah. So instead of 208, now it's 250 to go with 251 and 252. And there are 256 picks in the entire draft. Essentially, is it unfair to say, even though the Broncos' message will be, we have 10 picks, they really only have 7?
Well, you can't sound like Bill Clinton there. Really? Oh, yeah. No, go ahead.
I'd say they have 8.
Let me do
one
this
of those
real
is going to work.
I'm not the comedian here. I just want to let you know they only have 7. How's that?
That was good.
Thank you.
That was good.
I believe they have 8 because one of those guys is going to make it. But the 3 7th-rounders aren't making their team. That's not happening. So, and remember we talked about Benjamin the other day. You can't trade compensatory picks.
Right.
So it really is a disadvantage to have 3 lumped together that way. It's hard to see all 3 of those guys making the team. One of those guys is clearly a warm body. One is competing, and they'd hope one makes the team, in my view, right now.
Right. Well, we do see with Denver in almost every year in like the last 5 years, some guy that was an undrafted player makes the team. Isaiah Burst last season, but so you could argue that this guy in the one of these 7th rounders could be an undrafted guy that makes the team.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, when I saw that yesterday, I was like, oh, what's the big deal? 6th to 7th. But then you look, what do you say, 208 to 250? There's a lot of players in between there. That made me. I felt sad for John Elway.
I mean, 2 are useless as is. But now you tack on a 3rd.
Right.
I would have thought, and I'm guessing the Broncos probably thought, Troy, that when they lost Decker, Beatles, and DRC to other teams for pretty substantial contracts, they would get something like the Ravens got. They would get something like the Bengals got. And they weren't even in the ballpark.
Yeah, it's surprising, and that formula is secret. They just publicize it in general terms, but based on the guys you lost, guys you gain, how they played. I mean, it's this weird kind of convoluted thing. I agree with you, Eric. The idea that ended up with 3 7th-rounders, that's really not compensatory. That's just kind of throwing it at the end of the. I mean, those are almost Mr. Irrelevant picks.
That's what I was saying.
Right?
The guy, 4 or 5 picks after that is Mr. Irrelevant. You got guys in competition for Mr. Irrelevant.
For those that don't know, Benjamin has a separate Twitter handle called Big Dog 69. This coming off him playing for the Shalom Aleichem 6th grade football team. Is that correct?
7th grade, and I
7th
wore
grade
number
football
69.
team.
That's
The reason why I'm bringing this up is because clearly you have a vast knowledge of not only football but playing the game.
Oh, yes. Naturally. Yeah.
If you were in college, okay?
Yeah.
Would you rather be picked with one of the last few picks and be tied into that team, or be undrafted and get to pick the team you want to play for?
Well, I mean, you can look at it both ways. I would. There's something to be said about, I was drafted in the NFL. And, of course, with Michael Sam last year, it was a huge thing because he could forever say he was the first openly gay player to be drafted in the NFL. But, honestly, if I'm just a dude, I would rather be the free agent because then I can pick the team that truly, truly fits with me. It's possible that Baltimore is a team I fit with and they really have a need for offensive linemen. But they didn't have any picks late in the draft or what have you. So I'm going with that. What would you say, Troy?
What's remarkable about it is that the guys who are undrafted get absolutely no money. Like the highest for undrafted free agents, like $13,000. Jawan Thompson, if memory serves, is around $2,400.
Okay.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Right.
It's like pennies to sign.
Sure.
But Thompson picked the Broncos and it gave him the best chance to make a team. But in the case of what I'd rather once you get to the 7th round, I would rather be a free agent at that point.
What's the difference in money? Do you know?
Usually 7th rounders in their signing bonus is around $55,000-$60,000. So
that's not bad.
It's not bad, but again,
you're locked into that team.
You're locked into that team and may not have a great chance to make it. Whereas it kind of depends on where you just kind of hoping to be in a camp, and it's not really your dream. If it's your dream and you get to the 7th round, you're almost better being a street free agent who can pick, like, hey, they have no depth at running back, or they have their inside linebackers were terrible last year. But there is a significant difference in signing bonus. I mean, again, 55, 60,000 to roughly the high end for street free agents is like $13,000.
All right, that segment was brought to you by Grand Prix Motorsports. If you're looking for the Indian motorcycle, talking about the original motorcycle, there's a buddy, Jim Zazinski, on his 2014 Indian Chieftain. He got it at Grand Prix Motorsports off of County Line Road and
Santa Fe!